Hey guys, it's Hunter Henry of the LA Chargers. Welcome to the capsON podcast. I hope you guys enjoy and thanks for listening.
Welcome to the capsON podcast, coming to you from the Capitol, with your hosts Anthony Mano, Tyler Blumenstick, Nick Tobias, and Michael Britton.
Welcome back to the capsON podcast. We have a loaded NFL championship week going on, coming up. I'm Anthony. I'm here alongside my co-host. We got Stick, we got Mikey, we got Nick. How we doing, boys?
Doing all right. Mike ran to the other room for some reason.
Great.
Mike from distance, from the other room.
What's up there, Mike?
My mouth.
What's going on, kid?
Technical difficulties. Gum fell out of the mouth. We're back. We're good.
All right. What's rock and roll?
Well, I'm very upset. I took Clemson yesterday. It was tough.
Yeah, well, nobody feels bad for you.
I feel bad. I feel bad for me.
That was free money on the table.
I went with the Dabo Sweeney being the. You ever see Batman and it's like you either live long enough to be the hero or no, you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's why I went with Dabo Sweeney. To die the hero, die taking down an Alabama dynasty, right?
You thought into that a lot.
Live yourself or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, taking down the hype train that is LSU and Coach O.
You know, the beginning of the game, I was worried. I'm not gonna lie. Clemson was dominating. LSU scored on a big play. Clemson was just maintaining possession.
Clemson put their cards on the table. And LSU was like, all right, those are great cards, but here's my entire friggin' deck of cards, and they ran away with that game. But that's not what we're talking about today.
Here's Joe Burrow dropping 6 offensive touchdowns on you.
He's insane.
Oh my god.
He's insane.
Is he gonna save Cincinnati?
No.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
I think
Maybe.
Cincinnati is just a piece away. I mean,
Well,
Dalton's a decent quarterback, and I mean, come on. You look at that offense: John Ross, Boyd, hurt.
But Dalton's
AJ
irrelevant once you draft
They should.
Joe Burrow.
They should.
Joe Mixon.
Yeah, but
Joe Mixon's a tank.
They should draft Chase Young and then be garbage again for another year, and then draft Trevor Lawrence because the difference between Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow is significant, and you won't see it from yesterday's game. But if you
You
watch
think Trevor Lawrence is
yes,
a
I
much
think
better
Trevor Lawrence.
quarterback?
I think Trevor Lawrence is that much better. I think he's head and shoulders above Joe Burrow.
I don't agree with you.
That's because you just watched yesterday's game.
That's not
and
true.
You saw,
I've
you saw
watched
Trevor.
both of them for the last Burrow this year and Lawrence this year and last year. I
Watch
think he
Burrow
was impressive Trevor Lawrence was impressive last year, but started off very slow this year and didn't look great yesterday.
He was overthrowing everything.
I just don't think he had time.
And he didn't
to
look
throw.
great in the first half of the Ohio State game either. And then he just had a nice second half. But I don't think he's a very consistent quarterback. And Joe Burrow is just extremely steady.
I'm telling you that Trevor
think
Lawrence
with a
is the
much better
best.
skill set.
Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback to come out in probably our lifetime. I'm telling you right now. I will put my life on that. You can hang me from, I don't know, anywhere.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement.
That's
It is very bold. Please don't
statement.
kill me if I'm wrong.
The one thing I'll give you is he will have, if he goes off next year like he has these past years, that's 3 straight years in college that he's proved that he's good. Joe Burrow has just one good year.
One.
We'll see.
That's not what we're talking about, though.
Football.
Well, that's also football, but
Professional football.
professional football. First game we got going on here. Sunday, 3:05. We got the Tennessee Titans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Tennessee this line opened on FanDuel. I don't know if it opened, but right now it's 7.5 right now. The
It
game
opened at 7.
Okay, so we're getting an extra half a point there. The game line opened 52.5.
I mean, it definitely got pushed after you saw the Kansas City Chiefs just score 41 unanswered points.
Sure.
7 unanswered touchdowns.
You can get Tennessee plus 290 on the money line. Nick, give me something about Tennessee. Go ahead. Give me something about Kansas City. Go ahead.
I mean, this game, I think I'm going to go with Tennessee plus 7.5 here. I look at this game the way I look at the way the Chiefs played. The Chiefs and the Colts played earlier this year. Time of possession, I mean, Colts had the ball around 15 minutes more than the Chiefs had the ball and kept the hands out of
Colts or the Titans?
the Colts. This is
You're talking about the Colts.
I'm thinking that this
You purposely mean to talk about the Colts right now. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
keep
because
going,
I
keep going.
think okay, so the Chiefs played the Titans earlier in the year. The Titans won 35-32. Tannehill 2 tutties, Derrick Henry 23 for 188 and 2.
Monster.
Oh my lord.
Didn't Mahomes have like 5 touchdowns in that game?
Mahomes had 3 touchdowns.
That was his first week back after his knee injury?
Yeah, something like that. And I mean, Tannehill 13 for 19 for 181 and 2. I mean, not impressive. But Derrick Henry with the 188 on the ground. So we know Derrick Henry can take over a game. We know Kansas City's defense isn't the best.
Also, like you said, Tannehill's had 90 yards.
Less.
No, less than 90 yards.
Tannehill's had less than 90 yards passed in the past 2 games.
He's not needed. It doesn't matter.
He's not needed. I think that. I mean, the thing that really makes me nervous
he's needed,
here,
but he's not needed.
Tennessee's secondary is pretty vulnerable, and that's kind of. I mean, besides who do they have? Byard. Besides Byard.
Byard, Logan Ryan.
I mean, Logan Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the league right now.
Sure, you're going to take the quarterback and the wide receiver over the.
But I
corner
think I think the Titans can hang. I mean, if the Titans can hold on to the ball and control the game like the Colts did against the Chiefs earlier in the year, I think they win. They have a chance to win the football game. So I'm going to go with Tennessee plus 7.5 here.
I think a good thing to look at, yes, I know everyone wants to go with the spread, but look at this over-under. 52 points. Based on what we saw Mahomes do last week.
Chiefs did that by themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
They did it by
put
themselves.
51 if we want to get technical.
The thing is, no, I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, yes, if I had to lean under over, I would say over, but the fact that the Titans game is extremely run heavy, it just is. There's going to be less possessions within this game. It's also why I'm going to go with Tennessee plus 7.5. I agree with you.
I mean, I think a whole lot of this game obviously rides on Derrick Henry's shoulders, and he can do it.
See, part of me wants to take Kansas City and be the sucker for the Kansas City, but I just don't know. I think having the strong run game that the Titans have it gives them a potential to control the clock, control the game, and really just limit the amount of damage that Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense can do. We saw what Travis Kelce could do last week. Guy was absolutely unguardable. The Tennessee doesn't. They have a decent defense, but it's not great.
So what?
Please tell me you were just looking at Derrick Henry's numbers. You said, "Oh
No.
my God!" Please tell me it had to do with Derrick Henry.
No. I mean,
okay.
this has to go with. Stick was making a point about Tennessee's defense. So I keep going back to this Colts-Chiefs game because I really think that's going to model how this game.
I don't think the defense is going to make much of a difference though, because
So,
I think both teams are
okay.
going to be able to score
So
the ball.
on the ground,
Titans
the
on the
Colts had
ground.
180 rushing yards that game.
That's a lot.
The Chiefs only had 36.
That is not a lot.
So that makes Mahomes throw the ball. I mean, I don't know.
Kansas City's been good the past 2 weeks, taking out the Patriots, who have a shaky offense, but then the Ravens' offense, and they're not going to struggle
Titans
much.
are hot right now.
That's what I'm saying. They might not struggle much against Kansas City. They have a very generic, run up the middle or quick toss outside type of run offense.
The difference being Derrick Henry, who is a man, who is a man.
Exactly.
With an emphasis,
it's going to rely
the
on
two
him.
dots on the A. He's a man.
I know he's hot right now, but I just think that he's gonna cool off soon, and I think his body's just. I know he's a giant, but I think his body's not gonna be able to take it anymore. I think that you have to go with the Chiefs minus 7.5 here, especially if we saw what they did last week.
I agree with you with the Chiefs minus 7.5, right? Because here's what I think. So we saw the Chiefs offense go down 14-0. Pat Mahomes give his little pep talk in his Kermit voice on the sideline, and they come back and pretty much blow out the Texans, right? If Kansas City, and I said this last week with the Ravens against Tennessee, but if Kansas City goes up 10 points, 14 points, 13 points, somewhere in that range, you're not going to give the ball to Derrick Henry 35 times again. You're going to put the ball. You're going to put the ball in Tannehill's hands, and I've been saying this now. We know what Ryan Tannehill is, but they haven't had to use Ryan Tannehill because he's throwing the ball 13 times a game, and that's all they've had him do. I think Kansas City gets that to a big lead early. I think they hold the lead, and I think they stop Derrick Henry.
Let's win this week, Mano. Let's get this.
2-2 last week. Where I'll take 500.
All right, so are we split?
You lose money on 500.
It depends how much money I put on it.
It doesn't. You still lose.
That's not true.
I mean,
What if I put $1 on my 2 losses and $100 on my 2 wins. Then I
that's
win
a-
money.
that's a fair point.
Yeah, damn right. You don't know how much money I bet. You don't know me.
Green Bay at San Francisco. San Francisco minus 7.5. Over under set at 45. I'm gonna flat out go out and say that I'm going over on this one. I don't think this game is gonna be necessarily slow paced by any means. I think if Green Bay's offense can find out even the tiniest gap in San Francisco's defense, I think that this game both teams can score 21 points, and obviously teams got to win. So I think someone's gonna even score more. And that pushes that over the total. I think it's easy. I don't necessarily think it's going to blow it out, but I could see this being a 27-21 game, 27-24. Like, I think it could be around that range. With that being said, in addition to taking the over, I think I'm going to go Green Bay plus 7.5. You're giving Aaron Rodgers more than a touchdown. I think that's plenty in this situation. I think it's going to be a close, hard-fought game.
My pick here, I'm just going to go straight up Green Bay plus 7.5. I think they win this game outright. I think Green Bay is going to go to the Super Bowl, and I think Green Bay is going to win the Super Bowl.
Say it one more time for me.
Green Bay.
Yep.
Plus 7.5 this game. Win the football game.
I'm right there.
Go next week.
Uh-huh.
Play the Tennessee Titans in the Super Bowl.
That's bold.
You think they're going to beat
Wow.
the Chiefs?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I mean, listen. Anything can happen.
And any given Sunday.
I'm going to tell you this, though. I don't know who's going to come out of the AFC, but I know who's going to come out of the NFC. And I know who's going to win the Super Bowl, regardless of who comes out of the AFC, and it's going to be the Green Bay Packers.
Which are plus 650 right now to win the Super Bowl.
I'm taking that right now.
I'm telling you. I think Green Bay, they have been on a tear. I mean, I'm not even looking at numbers because I've been pretty set on this since what I saw them do last
This is a
week.
classic. Green Bay is a classic battle of like analytics Twitter being like, this team should not be 13-3. They've overperformed their metrics, whatever. And then everybody who's over the age of whatever being like, nah, 13-3 is 13-3. I'm somewhere in the middle of that. Have they overperformed? Probably, but it's Aaron Rodgers.
He's been in this situation so
Exactly.
many times.
You can't ask me to doubt Aaron Rodgers. Like, you can't tell me to doubt Aaron Rodgers. And I'm with you. Given you're going to give Aaron Rodgers 7.5 points against a San Francisco team that, to me, their defense probably isn't comparable. But, so all around, San Francisco has a better defense, right? But we saw Ahkello Witherspoon pretty much get torched that entire game until they pulled him for San Francisco. And there was a quote where he said that they pulled him. He went to the special teams coach and he asked for the backup cornerbacks reps on special teams. Not really relevant for this game, but San Francisco has something special brewing over there. I just don't think this is their year.
I don't. I think this is something. I think this is a time when Green Bay. You know what I'm doing? I'm looking at the game when they played San Fran earlier in the year. When was this game?
While you're looking for that, I'll read off a quick stat. In their last 7 matchups, the Niners have won 5 of those. 4 of those were postseason, and 3 of them the Niners won. So, and the last 3 ones were all played at 49ers at home that they all won. So the odds are very much against Green Bay in this. So I want to see what that game is. While you look at that, I'm also going to throw my pick out here. I'm going with Green Bay plus 7.5. Do I think they're going to win? Me personally, no. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they win this, but I do think they cover. I think it's a very close game, and it comes down to a final drive. And I think that Aaron Rodgers drives the field and just somehow does not get it done in this one. I don't. I think he has the experience. I think that he is the better quarterback, obviously, in this matchup. But I just think that the 2 teams overall, the 49ers come out victorious in this one. But that being said, Green Bay plus 7.5. Also, Super Bowl predictions, 49ers, Chiefs, with the Chiefs to win. Chiefs to the Super Bowl.
Wow. Okay. All right. Stick. Anything different here?
No, Packers plus 7.5. That's it. That's all I got.
So the Packers, when the Packers played the Niners, it was back in November. Packers were 8-3 at that time. They were just starting to come back, and Aaron Rodgers only threw for 104-1. Devontae Adams 7 for 43 and 1. I mean, this Green Bay Packers team is completely different than it was back in November, and the San Francisco is a lot different too. Mike, you talked a little bit about how it's going to come down to a final drive, and who do I trust more than Aaron Rodgers? I mean, you give him the ball with 30 seconds, and he's going to take it down the length of the field, score a touchdown, get the points he needs. I'm not looking too deep into this game. I like what I've seen out of the Packers the past 2-3 weeks, and I'm just riding them to Super Bowl victory. I'm telling you.
I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is from California, too. So
He is.
He went to Cal. He went to Cal.
That's a big
there,
storyline that the 49ers could have drafted him and they didn't because he went to Cal.
So revenge. I mean,
that narrative's been over. That's been a thing for years now. But I'm more curious to dive into this a little more. Why do you guys think that San Francisco is favored 7.5? Like, what is the advantage that's giving them
their defense.
That extra
their defense and their home field.
Yes, and home field.
So you think that's worth an extra
Yes.
3.5, 4.5 points for these guys?
I would give your defense. I would give that defense another 3.5 points. I mean, you get that's they. I mean, they could easily.
But it's 3.5 points. You think they're 3.5 points better than the Packers' offense?
No.
Well, that's what you're saying.
No, I think Mano's trying to say where did that value come in?
Where does 7.5? I'm trying to figure out where 7.5 comes from. Because to me, if I mean, obviously I don't have the numbers and stuff like that, but I feel like this game is a lot more even than 7.5. Maybe I think we're looking at San Francisco, 3.5. I think the offense is at full potential, and obviously they don't take full potential. I think they take what you are, more into what's into account. But
listen, San Francisco has been impressive. I mean,
they have.
Last week they looked pretty good. I mean,
consistent.
They looked good last week. They really did, and I gotta give them that. Their passing game is finally something now that they got a Manny Sanders.
Mm-hmm. They're built on a run, though.
They are.
I mean, Breida and Coleman and Mostert, and they have a gang of running backs who all pretty much do the same thing, which kind of opens up Shanahan's playbook. So it's not like, Tevin Coleman's out there, he's going out for a screen. It's Tevin Coleman's out there. He can rush up the middle. He can go for a screen. Excuse me. Breida's out there. He can rush up the middle. He can go for a screen. They all do the same thing. So you're not really getting many different looks from those guys. I just think Green Bay's defense is comparable. I mean, you got the Smiths on the edges. You got
the brothers.
I hate that they're called the Smith brothers because they're not brothers. They not even close.
They ball.
They do ball. They do ball.
Well, hold on.
Who's going to cover George Kittle? I'd still like the Packers. I'm just curious.
BJ Goodson, dude. Come on. Don't
my dude is put the crown of the helmet down and bowl into somebody. My dude is not
on my boy. All right. Oh, okay. So against the Vikes last week, Niners had 186 rushing yards. Yeah, it's
a lot of. Do you think they had less?
I did. I didn't see much. I honest to God don't remember seeing much running that game. I mean, I remember seeing Tevin Coleman tear up down the sideline a couple times, but that's about it. Like Mostert with 58. I mean, Tevin Coleman 105 and 2. Sheesh.
I just think Zadarius Smith's going to be able to create enough pressure to force Jimmy G into some mistakes.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be a clean game, but the points are going to get put up, and I think the Packers eat this one out late. So,
yeah, I wonder what I wonder what the defensive stats for that game was, because I wonder how many times Jimmy G was rushed and he was forced to throw the ball out.
The Vikings did not play a good game.
Sacks. Oh, Jimmy G was only sacked twice for 9 yards, so he wasn't even. He probably wasn't even. He probably wasn't a pressure that game.
No, he wasn't, which is why they controlled the entire game. But the Vikings didn't play well.
You heard it here. Tuesday, the 14th of January, Green Bay Packers win the Super Bowl. I'm telling you.
Okay, I hope so. I hope we can clip that and post it later.
I hope so too. I hope you could post it too. It was the Ravens. Watching the Ravens go down last week was tough. I mean, it was tough.
It was.
Everybody had money on the Ravens. I mean, who didn't have? I mean, people who had
Lamar haters who
Stick, did you take Tennessee 7.5 last week?
10.5.
Oh yeah.
Or 10.
Yeah,
okay,
everybody
17.5 I probably might have taken.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing them go down, now it's really up in the air. So that's who I like.
Packers plus 650 is in.
Yeah.
If the Packers win this week, I will be fully on board with that.
All right. Well, I hope you're all on board. I'm all on board. I hope Rodgers grows out a stash again. It's fresh.
It is fresh.
State Farm's looking for Green Bay versus KC, right?
They gotta be because they have Mahomes too.
No one needs all that red in the Super Bowl either.
Oh, well, there's not a lot of red.
San
Well,
Francisco,
yeah.
KC, yeah,
If it's
it's a
San
lot of
Fran.
red, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of red and yellow, red and gold. Ugh. Gross.
All right.
All right, yeah.
So, you could follow our socials. Instagram at capson.sports. On Twitter, capson_inc. Nick, what is that? How do you spell that?
INC.
Here you go. In addition to whatever streaming platform you're listening on, we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Pretty much it. So, yeah. Anybody else?
How do you spell that?
Let's go Giants.
Go Packers.
Yes. No. Let's go. Go Pack. Go.
Go Pack.
Go
Pack,
Pack.
go.
Go, baby.
Hey guys, it's Hunter Henry of the LA Chargers. Welcome to the capsON podcast. I hope you guys enjoy and thanks for listening.
Welcome to the capsON podcast, coming to you from the capital, with your hosts Nick Tobias, Tyler Blumenstick, and Michael Britton.
Welcome back to the capsON podcast. We have a stacked divisional round set up for you guys. How we feeling this week? How did we do last week?
Terrible.
I did good last week.
Me and Stick both went 3-1. You guys went 2-2?
I went 1-3. Mikey, what'd you do?
I also went 1-3.
Hey!
Let's go, man. It's a tough week. You know what
What do
that
you say,
means?
Stick?
Hey, I mean, the Saints game was interesting.
The Saints game was not.
It was
interesting.
surprising to me because like they weren't like. I figured you might have get screwed up, like you might have gotten screwed on a backdoor cover or something, but they weren't really in that game. I mean, they were in it, but like they
Vikings
weren't like
look good.
in control of
The
it.
Vikings look real good.
They did
They
look
do.
good.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they.
I kind of like them this
They
week.
do here.
What we got first?
Well, first game is Minnesota at San Francisco at not Candlestick anymore, at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. This game right now, Minnesota is +7. The game total is 45, and they're +270 on the money line. Does any of that appeal to you?
Money line doesn't appeal to me, but I like the spread. I like
The
Minnesota.
7 is...
I like Minnesota +7 here. San Fran's got a good. I mean, San Fran's defense is obviously legit. We've seen them play well all year. Obviously, they're based on stopping the run, and Minnesota, all they really want to do is run the ball. So it'll be interesting to see what Minnesota's offense can do against San Fran's defense, but I think Minnesota's offense got enough firepower, and they can cover the 7.
And their defense is also tied with the 49ers defense in 5th in sacks, so they're going to be giving Jimmy Garoppolo some pressure.
They have probably one of the most underrated defenses in the NFL. They don't have any names that really jump out to you, but when you look at the stats, I like Daniel Hunter and Everson Griffin both have double-digit sacks.
Well, I have the first 5 home games for the San Francisco 49ers, their defense is giving up around 24 points a game. The past 4 games, they've been giving up 31.7. So obviously defense is falling. You know, they're playing tougher teams, more meaningful games, which I think is putting a burden on them. They have a week's rest, but I mean, Minnesota's coming on. They got emotion riding on this, and like you said, their defense. I mean, it's been underrated all year. They played a little bit. They didn't play too well at the beginning of the year, but they're relatively healthy. And I don't know. I think their rush defense can get to Jimmy G, make him a little nervous, and all you really got to do is stop Manny Sanders, and you just got to worry. Who's their middle linebacker? Anthony Barr.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, and he's got to cover George Kittle. So
that's true.
But still, I think Anthony Barr and even they have another guy, Kendrick.
We also have Harrison Smith to kind of chime into that. Like Barr's not gonna have to necessarily do it on his own. Kittle's going to know that Harrison Smith is there going up the seam in the middle of the field. I mean, I don't know. This is interesting for me because on paper, just like watching NFL all year, it's an easy pick to take San Francisco here. But I feel like the playoffs are who's hot at the right time. And I'm not saying I'm the furthest from a Kirk Cousins fan. I think he's real annoying. But, like, the Vikings are playing really, really well and leaning on their running game. I think the difference here, I think the Vikings are going to be able to run the football. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue.
I think so, too. I mean, you've seen what Dalvin Cook is a monster. When he's healthy, he's a monster.
The thing is, the difference maker here is going to be the way they play off of that run. And I just think that D-line versus Minnesota's pretty weak offensive line. Like, I mean, they run the football very well, but they're just not a great offensive line, and it has the potential to get exposed versus a very, very good, if like possibly the best defensive line in football, led by Nick Bosa. I just don't know.
Well, this is Jimmy.
I'm
Jimmy
thinking
G.
of riding Minnesota here and putting a little flake on the money line. I don't know if they go into 2 really hard places to play and win back-to-back weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they have the tools to do it. Like,
yeah,
if Kirk plays all right, I think it's fine. I think Minnesota's defense can slow down Jimmy G and San Fran.
This is going to be a good game.
It's going to be a real good game. It doesn't, like...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to put this, but the Vikings...
Well, the Vikings...
wearing... The Vikings' purple uniforms. You know how sometimes the uniforms make a game?
Look good, play
Like,
good.
it looks good. Like,
Yeah.
you just look like you're watching a good game. The Vikings never feel that way because of the purple. Like, I like the uniforms, don't get me wrong, but they never go well with any other uniform. It just never feels like a good game, but this is it. I think this is a good game.
So you're basing this off of uniforms.
Well, the purple
No,
and
I'm
yellow
just saying,
is
you
a
know that
weird
aspect
combo.
of it?
Like,
The
purple and black is a nice one, but purple and yellow.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean.
Oh, we got it. So this is Jimmy G's first. This is his first start in the playoffs. Since 2013, first time playoff quarterbacks are just 4-13 against the spread. Minnesota just took down the Saints. The Saints were, Super Bowl candidates
On the road too.
on the
They
road.
went to
I
the
mean, I
Superdome.
thought the Saints were going to make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, they would have had to beat a couple good teams, obviously, but the Saints had the firepower. The fact that Minnesota was able to go into Ben's, completely shut down and shut up all the fans in there, play a fantastic game, and they controlled that whole game. I mean, the Saints just looked like they were behind on offense. Their defense wasn't able to catch up. Dalvin Cook's tearing them up. Thielen obviously he's healthy. Kyle Rudolph, what Kyle Rudolph's been doing in the end zone is just ridiculous. I mean, every time I see him in the end zone, he's just one hand here, two hands there, tiptoeing in the
Offensive
corner.
pass interference, yes or no?
No.
Offensive pass interference, yes or no?
in a game like that, I'm gonna go with you can't call.
Offensive pass
Well, what do you
interference,
think
yes or no? It is a binary question, yes or no?
No.
No.
Offensive pass interference, yes or no?
I think, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take back what I said about a binary question. If you look at the rules, that is an offensive pass
He
interference.
pushed out,
shoved
okay.
my dude away
Yes.
from him.
It
But in the
wasn't
game
like-
situation, it's not egregious, and you can't go. And I know that's what won them the game, but you can't go and you have to go and review that because that's the rule. But they were just like, no,
Yeah,
we're just
they were
not
like,
gonna. They were
no.
like, no, we're not gonna review, which is smart, fine for them. But
Man, shout out Adam Thielen. Was that ball meant to go to you?
No,
well,
that
the team.
was
Oh,
Kyle
it was
Rudolph.
Kyle
Oh, was it
Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph?
He got, yeah.
They kept
I
badgering
don't,
him.
I don't know why you can't answer that question, though. Like, there's
You know
nothing
what,
wrong
you
with
know
that.
what,
It's
Like-
like, the team played well, came out strong. Kirk Cousins, great guy. So was it meant to go to you? Like I said, great team,
Yeah,
great guy.
had a good time. We won the game.
The first time they asked that question and he answered it that way, I was convinced that he didn't hear the
Didn't
question.
hear it.
He didn't hear it. And then they asked him again and he answered the same thing. So, I don't know.
So,
Mike,
Sick,
so-
what are you gonna get on? What are you gonna get on here?
I'm taking mini plus 6.5, plus 7, whatever the line
you
is.
like,
at
you're
that.
gonna stay on mini?
It's 7 now?
Yeah, I like mini.
7 on
I
FanDuel.
like mini plus 7.
I see 7 here.
And I
Plus
think you sprinkle a little money line if you have an extra $5-10 you just want to throw around.
I think at plus 270, it's a really good value.
Oh, plus 2, yeah. I mean that is good value.
I'm going to throw some on the money line. I think this is a winnable game for Minnesota. I'm a big
Absolutely.
fan of dogs in big, in the playoff settings, March Madness, stuff like that. Because both teams deserve to be there. Mm-hmm. There's not much that separates them. The line set at 7, but there's not much. They both deserve to be there.
The thing that scares
aside
me,
from the
thing
obvious
that scares me with
outliers
the
like
Niners,
the Eagles
dude.
in the playoffs.
The Niners were a huge first half team. I mean, the first half they just completely dominated everything. The back half, people are exposing their weaknesses, and I'm just not sold. When come the playoffs, I'm not sold on it.
I mean, yes, I know they're a first half team, but I think that if you can just break down the Vikings in the first half like that, they're not going to be able to retaliate in the second half. I don't
You
think
can
they're-
put the Vikings away fairly quickly.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I know that they beat the Saints, but like we said, the Saints just did not look that great, and I don't think that the 49ers are going to come out and play the same way the Saints did. I think they're going to come out strong. They're healthy. They had a week bye. And I personally have to go with, and I know you said about George Kittle being, over the middle, he'll be covered, but it's George Kittle. He missed 2 games, and he still has, over 1,000 passing yards this season.
Receiving.
What did I say? Passing, sorry. Receiving.
You think you could take San Fran minus 7?
See, if it was
Seven's a lot.
if it was 6.5, I'd be like, you know what, San Fran can definitely win this game by
7's a lot.
touchdown. But if it's a touchdown game, regardless that San Fran wins the push, I'm gonna just ride it out. I'm gonna go San Fran minus 7.
I'm taking Minnesota plus 7 here. I really like what I saw from them last week. It scares me. I'm not happy about it. But I think they go in and at least cover the spread. Moving on, game number 2 on Saturday. We got Tennessee, the Dynasty Killers, against possibly a future dynasty of their own in the Baltimore Ravens. This one right now is at 9.5. Game total 46.5, and Tennessee is plus 340 on the money line. Stick, start us off. What do you like here?
I like the Titans. I'm going to go against the spread. I don't know if they win this game, but I think if Derrick Henry can run the football the way he did against the Patriots, I don't think he's going to have as much success. I mean, the Patriots have a great defense. Like, there's no questioning that. And they had the ability to stop the run, but they had no answer for Derrick Henry. This guy is just in, I think, the best form of a running back I've ever seen in a period of time since maybe like Adrian Peterson in his prime. I'm not kidding.
The use that they get out of him, and the productivity that they still get is phenomenal, especially with a huge bruising back like Derrick Henry. Like, my dude's taking hits every single time, and he gets back up. And then they give him the ball again, and he does it again.
And he was still teetering with injuries towards the end of the season. He just, like you said, just keeps going. He's a bull.
Watching that Tennessee game, they kind of went away from Henry for like 5 snaps, and then they were like, oh wait, this dude's absolutely dominating the Patriots. Let me continue to give the ball to him, because they couldn't stop him.
I mean, he had, 35 rushes last week? 34 rushes, something like that? I mean...
He was
on
fire.
To get over 25 rushes in a playoff game like that... I mean, against a great team like
that. In
that.
2020.
Yeah.
In a modern NFL, you're going to give your running back the ball 35 times and you're going to win a game? It's ridiculous.
So, what does that mean? You like Tennessee here?
I like Tennessee plus 9.5. This Baltimore team is ridiculously scary, and this game could easily be 40-10, just as easy as it can be, a 9.5 point game. I'm willing to bet here that Tennessee kind of
hangs.
They kind of hang, but it's not because of their offense; it's because of their defense.
I mean, I'm going Baltimore -9. Their offense is unreal, and that's what's going to win them the football game. Now, yeah, I mean, you give the ball to Derrick Henry so many times, but I mean, then. What happens if you get shut down? I mean, obviously that's always what if, but you get shut down, then you have Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball to A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, nothing too impressive in the air game. So really, I mean, it does have to be all Derrick Henry, and I've been pretty impressed with the way the Ravens have played defense this year. I think this game I think it's gonna be real. I don't think it's gonna be a slow game. I think it's gonna be a very high scoring game. Everything's gonna be going back and forth. But I like the offensive firepower that Baltimore has. The perennial MVP Lamar Jackson. They had so many Pro Bowlers. I mean, first team All NFL, all over the field on the offensive side. And I think this is a scenario. I know, Stick, like you were saying, can easily be a 40-10 game. And I
said that.
Mano, you said 40-10.
I did.
I'm not gonna take credit.
That's fine. Well, I realistically think that's.
I agree.
I think that's how bad this game is going to be. I could see Tennessee hanging for the first quarter, first half at most, but I don't think Baltimore's going to leave it close for long.
I'm going to take back my pick. I'm going Baltimore -9.5.
I mean, I just look at what Baltimore's done all year, and it just, who they put up? Did they play the Jets? Did they put up like 54 points on or something? I mean, like
on Thursday night.
I mean, yeah, it's the Jets and whatever. I know you can't compare the Jets to a playoff team, but.
Still, they're an NFL team.
I think Tennessee was a little lucky they squeaked by last week. I mean, what Derrick Henry did obviously shouldn't be questioned. But I do think they got a little lucky last week. And, I mean, the Patriots aren't anything special this year. We've noticed that all year. But I don't think the Baltimore Ravens are going to let this one slip out.
Yeah. I have to agree with you. Going off what Mano said, I understand Derrick Henry is a bull. He's continuous with getting a ton of rushes and performing pretty much every week. But it has to start to take a toll on him eventually, and I know that this is playoffs, but like he doesn't have a chance to rest, and the Ravens are coming off a rest, and
they're at home. That place is going to be rocking.
And
are they wearing purple or black?
You want me to? I hope they're wearing black.
I hope they're wearing black.
Blacked out. They also haven't lost a game since like September 29th or something like that, and they're 7-1 in their past 8 playoff games. The 9.5.
If they wear black, I'm picking Baltimore by 40.
They're gonna wear black. You know they're gonna wear black.
See, I don't know. That's why I asked the question.
They're gonna wear black.
They have to. If they don't, it's just I have to go with the Ravens at -9.5 here. I don't know if it's gonna be a total blowout. I think it's gonna stay close kind of in the first, and then the Ravens will start to pull away. But I think that they're gonna cover, but I don't believe it's gonna be I think it's going to be a closer cover than we think. I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. But I have to stick with the Ravens, especially like we said, if they're going with the blackout uniforms. How can you not go against? That's a mean look against a mean team in mean Baltimore. Baltimore minus 9.5.
Well, I don't know if the weather factors into any of our listeners or anybody's minds, but it's supposed to be 66 degrees. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be.
Wow.
That's a nice day for football, for playoff
Back to like
football.
fall football.
So, I mean, everyone's gonna be loosey goosey. There's gonna be no cramps on the field. I think it's gonna be a great game. I think the Ravens are just gonna torch the hell out of the Titans. I don't think it's gonna be close.
So I'm the only one on the opposite side.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, you think Tennessee's gonna? You think
I'm going to do some convincing here.
Well,
you're
is
not.
there? Well, I had a couple follow-up questions too. My first is there any possibility that we see the same Lamar Jackson that we saw last year in the playoffs?
No.
It's a completely different.
I think no.
No.
It's a completely different
No.
guy. He's
No,
obviously
I don't
got
think there's
some
a
improvement.
chance.
I think because he's home, that makes him probably. I mean, obviously you have playoff
little more
nerves,
comfortable.
but
Sure.
you're home. You're sleeping in your own bed. You do your own morning routine. The same thing you do every year. You get to the facility. You're chilling. I mean, he's got to be thinking it's just a regular. I mean, everyone thinks it's a regular.
Yeah.
You say it's a regular season
And
game, but it's not.
Right.
And
But-
he is I would say, a different player than
He's
last year.
he's a very different quarterback than last year.
They've been.
But it's easy to make that last
That
year he did
argument,
this.
I
That's
agree.
true.
I agree.
I just
even
think
though
that since he's been playing so consistently all year, he hasn't slipped up, even with all the media on him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think, he goes into it, like we said, it's like another game and doesn't see it any different.
My next question is there any possibility that the Ravens are scouting heavy for Derrick Henry coming off a 35 whatever carry game last week, and Tennessee just unleashes Ryan Tannehill for whatever that's worth?
I mean,
You know,
what isn't if it's not broke, don't fix it.
How
I think
are
something to
you going to
consider,
stop
though.
a man you want to stop him? He wants to run over
Okay,
you.
but my thing is,
There's
if you're,
no stopping
you're down
that.
14. What are you gonna do? Run the ball every play? I mean,
it depends how much time's left, but possibly. Yeah.
I don't know. They take him out for passing downs because he can't really catch the ball and run out of the backfield.
The thing is, all right, I'm going to do my convincing portion here. I'm on Tennessee.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's a better matchup this week for Tennessee than it was last week versus the Patriots.
Well, yeah.
I think Tennessee's offense did enough to beat the Patriots.
They put how many points they put up last week? 17.
21-13, no?
Let me look. Well, they also had a
check.
garbage time. They also had a garbage time pick 6.
also,
That is true.
So okay, so you figure if it was 21, they won 14. It was up. Yeah, they were up 14-13 at one point. So they only scored 14 points.
Against a good Patriots defense. Look,
dude,
the
the
A.J.
Ravens
Brown
gonna put
got
up 40.
AJ
The Ravens gonna put up 40.
You can grind out a win against the Patriots. You cannot grind out a win against
Nope.
the Ravens. You can.
I don't
take
think
that
they're
win.
gonna have
You
to.
can go down that field if Tennessee gets the ball first, right, and they run with their normal offense, what we're used to seeing with Derrick Henry getting 9 carries within the first drive, right, and you get down to like 30, and then you get stopped, and then you kick a field goal, but you took 7 minutes off the clock or 5 minutes off the clock or something like that. Baltimore's taking that kick. They're going to go, and they're going to score on you in 3 minutes. And then you're going to take another 3 minutes or 4 minutes
Yeah.
and punt. And then they're going to come down and score again in another 2 minutes.
But I don't necessarily think that's going to be the
And
case.
that
I think
game is-
Tennessee's defense is good enough to hold.
I don't.
yeah,
I don't
but
think they're going to shut them down. It's almost impossible to shut that offense down. But go ahead.
I was just saying, I feel like this year you can't compare the Pats' offense to the Ravens' offense. Like,
No, I'm not
That's
comparing
the
that at
thing.
all. I think that's a worse matchup. But I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, I think Tennessee's defense is good enough to at least contain them.
I don't. Who they contain? They contained Brady last week with who?
Look, I'm not comparing
Julian
offenses.
Edelman.
I'm not. That's comparing apples to oranges. If you're talking
They're
those
fruits,
two
they can be
offenses.
compared.
Yeah, one's red, one's orange. I mean,
That's fair.
one's a citrus.
All right. Well,
one-
then what's the Patriots? Who's the Ravens?
Well, the Ravens have a better team than I think the Patriots
Exactly.
do.
So which fruit does
So
that
how
correspond
are
to?
fans-
Whichever
Apples.
one-
one's better in your opinion?
Apples.
That's what.
Apples are better than oranges. That's a fact. But we
It
Orange-
depends. I like a nice peel
Orange
of a
juice,
tangerine.
orange
once
juice
in a
or
while.
apple juice? That's a real orange juice or
Apple
apple
juice.
juice.
Apple
Dude,
juice.
I love orange juice.
Yeah, we know you used to be.
Yeah.
Apple juice.
I
They
used
have
to mix
their
in gallons.
moments though. They have their moments. I'm not gonna walk downstairs in the morning and drink a glass of apple juice, but I will have a glass of orange
Thank
juice.
you. No pulp or no pulp? No pulp.
But if it's like a 1
No.
o'clock, go get a Taylor ham, egg and cheese kind of thing, I'll grab an apple juice right out of the
Or
fridge.
just grab a Snapple.
Okay, so are you done convincing? Because it's just not working.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean,
Also,
Look,
one more thing.
Who's going to cover A.J. Brown on that defense? They don't have that stud cornerback.
You don't
like
have
Gilmore,
to. You
Gilmore
don't
had the
have to.
ability to shut him down.
you don't have to.
But I think you do because when Derrick Henry starts to go, you start to commit to the run. Tannehill is playing well enough to the point where if A.J. Brown's open, he's going to find him. And
I would hope so.
like I think he's going to be able to have a pretty good game, put up 70, 80, 90 yards. It's possible. And I don't know. I just think this Titans offense has a better. They played a lot of high scoring games this year. Recently, I mean, again, it was against the Texans depleted team in 17, and they put up 35. They played the Saints to a 38-28 game. The 24-21 against the Texans, played a close game against the Texans, division rival, whatever. Put up 42 on the Raiders, 31 on the Colts, 42 on the Jags. Not great teams, but 35-32 against the Chiefs. I mean, that's a game you look back to and say this game is going to be somewhat of the same. And I just think they're good enough to stay in this game, and that's it. I don't necessarily think they're going to go in and win.
No, absolutely not.
9.5, I think they can. I mean, that's a lot of points.
I see where you're coming from, Stick. 9.5 is a lot of points, and it's one of the tougher games. I just can't look at Baltimore this year and be like, yeah, I'm going to bet against them.
See, I probably would. I would throw the money line in a parlay for. So I wouldn't. I don't think I'd. The spread is tough here.
What do you mean the spread's tough? You're getting 10 points. Why would you take the money line?
Yeah, what?
Well,
it's more of a shoe in to throw it in a parlay.
All right.
Here, moving.
I think you're stupid.
One more thing.
I'm not putting money on the money line here. It's unlike the first game, but I don't know. 10 points is a lot.
Mike, what do you got?
One more point on why I'm going with the Ravens even more. Yes, I know Derrick Henry's a beast. I understand that. However, I personally think, big mojo guy over here, I think he used up a lot of his playoff mojo already. Last week against the Pats, he broke the Titans franchise rushing record with 182 yards in a playoff game.
Can I guess who owned it before? Do you have that in front of you?
I don't have it, but let's hear.
Go ahead. Keep going. I'll look it up.
The Titans' all-time run. It's probably Eddie George.
Mike, what was the point you were making?
Well, it was also his 26th birthday. So, guy was coming out, feeling great, 26th birthday.
Not hungover.
Not hungover yet. That night went out partying. Didn't give his body a chance to recover. We're sticking with the Saints -9.5 minus you, Stick.
Can confirm it was Eddie George.
Let's go!
Boom!
That's nice.
Big football historian here.
I want to move on, but I also want to just point out the fact that the Ravens, listen to their schedule. They beat up on the Jags. They beat the Packers. Good win. They beat the Eagles.
Playoff
26-15 against a bad early season Eagles team.
Okay. No, that was a healthier Philadelphia Eagles team.
Look, I understand the offense is overpowering, and I'm not saying that, but listen to the teams they're playing. 29 against the Jags, 26 against the Packers, 26 against the Eagles, 20 against the Redskins. Beat up on the Dolphins, 59, expected. 23 on the Cardinals, 28 on the Chiefs, 25 on the Browns, 26 on the Steelers, 23 on the Bengals, 23-17 against the Bengals. Beat the Seahawks 30-16, good win. Beat the Patriots 37-20, good win. Beat up on the Bengals. Beat up on the Texans.
So that's 4 straight.
Good win. Beat up on the Rams. Went through a hot stretch. 49ers, 20 points. Bills, 24 points. Jets, 42. That was that Thursday game. 31 on the Browns, 28 on the Steelers. Like,
that's regular season.
That's regular season.
You're telling me to not take the points on a team that is 14-2 but 10-5-1 against the spread. Instead, you want me to take a team that was 9-7 and 8-7-1 on the spread.
Numbers.
Moving on.
Analytics.
I mean, Houston. No, we're done. We're done. We're on Sunday now. We're on Sunday now. It's Sunday.
See you Saturday.
Good morning.
Sunday scaries.
Good morning. It's Sunday.
Every day is scary. Every day is scary.
It's first game on Sunday. We got Houston coming into Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. This one opened up also. Well, this one right now is currently at 9.5.
Opened at 7.5.
Did it really?
It opened at 7.5. It got pushed to 9.5. Right.
Okay, all right.
Heavy money on the Chiefs.
Right. So we got an over/under of 51, and Houston is plus 350 on the money line. Mikey, give me something.
Oh.
Okay, I think that I'm just right on the Chiefs here at -9.5. I do not have any faith in Houston. I understand they beat Green Bay, but Green Bay has been teetering with the fraud statement a little bit this year. And I just think overall the Chiefs are the better team. And a big thing.
What are you talking about Green Bay for?
They didn't play. They played Buffalo last.
Houston
what
Buffalo.
did I say?
You said Green Bay.
God. Okay,
it's okay.
sorry
Aaron Rodgers and
Josh
Allen.
Oh.
Basically the same guy. It's you close your eyes and you can't even tell.
Keep going, Mike. What we
Okay,
got?
still, I'm sticking with the Chiefs here at -9.5. I'm big on the whole week off thing. They had the rest. I don't have faith in Houston. I know Will Fuller is most likely. What is he? Probably out again.
No, he's playing.
He's playing. All
Yeah.
right. So that could be. I mean, they have the deep threat there, and DeAndre Hopkins has to do everything. But still, I can't go against the Chiefs here. I just think that they're a more seasoned team, and I got to go with the big spread here, and I'm going with Kansas City -9.5.
Go ahead, Stick.
I'm on the Texans.
Yeah.
I think they have a shot to win this game.
Okay. All right.
I think they have a shot to win this game. This is a great battle, Watson versus Mahomes. I feel like I've seen this before. Has this happened? I mean, I know in a regular season game it's
Let's
happened.
see. Go ahead, keep going.
But I feel like in a playoff.
No.
Was it last year?
Watson v. Mahomes.
I don't know. Anyway, Kansas City's defense has been better, but I think Deshaun Watson, I mean, from what I saw last week and his heroic play at the end, I think he has the ability to be able to make plays. I think Hopkins has a good matchup anywhere on the field.
If you run that play 100 times, not that play, if you run that scenario 100 times where two, guys off the edge are about to hit Deshaun Watson, how many times does he break out of that?
One or two.
One or two? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah, I don't think very often. I mean, he got sandwiched basically. I mean, most of the time one guy's body weight's going to be forceful enough to push it one way or the other, but he got sandwiched, stood up, was able to keep his grounding. I mean, I don't know, it was a weird freak play, but it's not going to happen. You're going to get sacked 99 out of 100 times. But anyway, I just think Hopkins has a great matchup anywhere on the field. I think they have the ability to run the football. I mean, it's not great, but they have the ability to keep teams honest. So I think this game's going to be back and forth, and Kansas City just hasn't really been able to put teams away. I mean, and this is not a Houston offense you can let hang around. So, again, I think Houston has a much better chance to win than Tennessee does against the Ravens. But, 10 points in a game that should not be this far apart. I understand the action on Kansas City at 7 points. I don't understand it around here close to 10. So,
Man, you could go. Oh, I don't know if they faced off. When was Mahomes
and Watson?
They're both drafted in 17, right? But they both didn't play the same year. They only played...
No.
Because Mahomes didn't play his first
had a
year.
year, yeah.
So, Deshaun Watson's first year, they played against the Chiefs, but the Chiefs must have had Alex Smith or whoever. Chiefs won 42-34. This year, they played in October. Texans at Chiefs. Texans won 31-24.
Okay. I mean, they have the ability to beat them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I like the hot hand here. I think the Texans are hot. We said before Will Fuller's coming back, and I think that I think they could. I don't know. Listen,
I'm gonna play on the money line.
I know you're talking about money line.
It's good enough. With plus 400, 380, 390. What
I don't know about money line, but
come on.
I like 9.5 here. I'm gonna keep it short. I like 9.5. Come on, guy.
I'm going 9.5 too. Oh, that's.
I'm gonna go Houston. Yeah, sorry, Houston. I can't just say 9. I gotta go Houston. Yeah. Houston. I just don't think it's gonna be a blowout. It's not gonna be like the Ravens game because I don't think the Chiefs are by far, unreally superior to the Texans. I mean, yeah, they're a better team than the Texans, but I don't think the Chiefs' defense isn't anything special. The Chiefs' offense, I mean, Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Hardman, Kelsey, yeah. But it's going to be back and forth all game. Watson's putting the team on his back. The city of Houston is on his back. Him and J.J. Watt. I don't know. 9.5. I like Houston 9.5. I really do. Are you rolling with me?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm taking Kansas City -9.5. I watched that Texans game last week, and I left that game very underwhelmed. To me, they barely beat Josh Allen and the Bills, and that was a phenomenal Bills, effort by them, and they were just a couple,
different
plays
teams
away. Sure, I think they were a couple plays away though from really winning that game, and they probably should have won that game in the first place. If they hold on in that second half, it's a completely different story. Obviously, if they don't go off to a 9-0 start or whatever, then it's a different game. But to me, the entire year, the Texans haven't played a brand of football that I particularly like watching. It feels like it's too heavy on the big plays. I think Kansas City can really limit those big plays. And they can, obviously emphasize big plays themselves. The Texans don't necessarily have a phenomenal defense. Yeah, they got J.J. Watt back, but I think J.J. Watt is impactful, probably more impactful than whoever's backing him up. But at this point, with a torn rotator cuff or whatever he's had, broken shoulder, whatever, I feel like he's more of a motivator for those guys to be there. And even if he, wasn't playing, he's still probably motivating them in the locker room, on the sideline, whatever. Kansas City, to me, like even with 9.5 points, they're a much better team. They're a team that is 10 points better than the Texans.
So two Titans, 2 Texans.
Yeah.
Or not Titans, sorry. 2 Chiefs, 2 Texans. All right, split down the middle.
We're gonna win this, Manny.
I'm confident. Then the last game that we got going on here is Seattle and Green Bay in Lambeau. I don't think it's supposed to snow, which is depressing because anytime it snows in Green Bay, it's a great game. Are you looking if it's going to snow?
I have to. I have to look if it's supposed
I
to snow.
appreciate you.
I mean, it is Tuesday, so we are kind of a little far out. But.
Right. So right now on FanDuel, the spread is 4. The over/under is 47.5, and Seattle is plus 172 on the money line. I'll start us off on this one. I'm going Green Bay -4. Is it supposed to snow?
No, it's supposed to be 27 degrees.
Oh.
Cloudy and 27 degrees. It's going to be cold.
That's chilly.
It's going to be cold.
That's very cold.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, I'm taking Green Bay here for much of the same reason that I'm avoiding the Texans with Seattle. Seattle, to me, this entire year has felt like they've gotten, not lucky, because obviously there's talent there, but lucky. Sure. They've won a lot of one-possession games, and they've been almost...
I mean...
They've almost lost multiple times.
They just squeaked it out last week.
Sure, against Josh McCown and a banged-up Eagles team. And the thing that I noticed about that game last week against the Eagles was that the Eagles were able to consistently get a dude in Russell Wilson's face when they were blitzing, when they were blitzing 3, when they were blitzing 6 guys. Somebody was always in that
Every
dude's
time I'm
face.
looking down, he's down.
He's down. Yeah, right. And you good?
No phones on the set.
I mean, I'm researching. I just happened to click on a video by accident.
Terrible. Terrible.
Porn.
Terrible.
Stop.
Anyways.
I think the pass rush is a huge factor.
Right, and and Green Bay has a better pass rush than
Zadarius Smith,
and Preston Smith, and
The
Rashawn
Smith
Gary are better than the dudes on Philly outside of Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox is probably the best out of those group, but you can make a case for the other guys.
I just think this, especially with Aaron Rodgers, he's been on a mission all year to prove that he isn't. I mean, they thought he was declining.
The other side of that too is Green Bay always seems like they're one play away too. Like it seems like this entire year that offense has never been on the same page, and it's almost annoying to the point that everybody is saying it. National media. I think he even got Aaron Rodgers to say, like, yeah, we're not really on the same page, but I don't think it matters when Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the best QBs in the league.
I mean, you go ahead.
Yeah, well, one thing going off the pass rush that you guys were talking about is
pass rush.
Clowney is playing with a, what is it, like an abdomen
Yeah, he had
issue?
like an ab strain or some shit.
Yeah,
A little
and
bit of Carson Wentz's head, too.
That's true.
Bad hit.
That didn't look too bad.
That was a bad hit. My dude was down, and then he went to make a hit, and they collided helmet to helmet, and it was bad. So.
And they showed it in slow-mo. It doesn't look as bad as slow-mo, but
right.
like real time.
So, here's to Carson Wentz. I hope he gets better.
I just think that he played through it last week. I don't think it's going to heal by this week. I think he's going to continue struggling with a pass rush like that. They're not going to get to Rodgers enough, and Rodgers is a very seasoned, experienced quarterback. They're playing in Lambeau in a big game like this. And I know I said that the Packers do teeter with the fraud a little bit, but you guys also brought up the point with oh man, I'm drawing a blank here real quick. Oh, sorry. With Russell Wilson, he's always on the ground. He's always taking hits, and I just think the Seahawks aren't as great as everyone chalks them up to be, and I have to stick with the Packers at -4 here.
I'm just going to ditto everything Mike said. The last 5 weeks, they lost to the Rams. They're kind of limping into the playoffs. Lost to the Rams. Only beat the Panthers by 6. Lost to the Cardinals by 2 touchdowns. lost to the Niners. 5-point loss. They played well that game. And then barely beat the Eagles. I don't know. I just have to ditto what Mike said.
Yeah, there's really
I
not-
think they're
there's
like a
not
good
much to
team, but
say.
they're just limping into the playoffs. I'm going to go Packers -4. I think they have too much punch in the running game. Seahawks defense is going to get absolutely exposed.
Yeah, if you want me to throw some numbers at you, the Seahawks are 0-5-1 against the spread in their last 6 trips to Green Bay and 0-4-1 straight up in their last five meetings. So not a single win in the past 6 games. So those numbers do scare me. I know we talked a little bit about the pass rush, and I think the pass rush gets to Russell Wilson, and that's really all you need to boggle his mind a little bit.
And I feel like he only throws to DJ Metcalf. Like
DK Metcalf is a beast.
He's an animal.
What we saw him do last week on the national stage was I was very impressed. I wasn't sure what he was going to do coming out of college. He was just really a vertical threat
with a neck injury. People want to get on him for basically running like 4 routes, having 4 routes in his tree, but then blowing up at the combine. And the reason he fell is not because whatever else. The reason he fell is because my dude had a neck injury and he played like a really minimal amount of snaps. If you watch the tape at Ole Miss, it's a completely different player, whether that's being used differently or what. But these are 2 different DK Metcalfs.
Yeah, he's a freak this year. But he's not going to be able to do enough. And I think Seattle without Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, obviously Marshawn Lynch beast mode is beast mode, but he's been off all year. I saw a report that Pete Carroll's ready to give him a little bit more of a workload, but how you to give him a workload when you have to pass almost every down? Like I said, I could throw numbers at you all
real
day.
quick,
but
going off the numbers while we're still on that. The Packers, the last 8 games that they played against the Seahawks, they've won all 8 of those, and 2 of them are postseason games. And on top of that, Green Bay is 7-1 against the spread in their past 8 postseason games. Like,
yeah, I think this is an eyeball game. You look at this game and Green Bay is just. I think Green Bay's not head and shoulders, but I think they're way better team than Seattle Seahawks. So I'm not even blinking at this one. I'm gonna go Green Bay -4.
is that a squad agreement?
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we got 2 out of 4 we're agreeing on. That's not too bad.
Sorry, Russell.
There is only 4 games, so I hope we would agree on some of them. But I think, listen, we got another good lineup, I think. I think the NFL playoffs this year without Brady dominating, without anybody being... the NFC teams are real good this year, too, which is nice to see a competitive game in the NFC. But I'm happy.
Any changes to your Super Bowl pick?
With the Ravens?
Yeah.
No.
Do you still have the Ravens?
I'm still going to take the
I'm still taking the Ravens. I don't know who you picked in the first place, but
I think we all took the Ravens.
I didn't take theRavens. Absolutely not.
Would you take the
the
Saints?
Titans.
in
Oh,
the
last-
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Oh, I think you mean this game.
No, the
Sorry.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ravens, Saints. Yeah.
How are you going to say Ravens? Well, we're saying the winner. Cause
Saints
the
lost.
Yeah, so
So now who do I think is going to go in now?
Well, do you want to change your Super Bowl winner pick?
No, I have the Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he was saying.
Ravens against who?
Well, now
I think Green Bay beats
Vikings.
Yeah, I think the Green Bay beats the Vikings.
the Vikings. I think the Vikings make the Super Bowl.
Wow. You heard it here first, and probably only.
So we didn't do it last week, but I think we should do a lock of the week.
There's 4 games.
There's 4 games.
Okay.
So
we can lock the same thing. I think we should still do it.
You're going to lock the Titans.
I'm not gonna lock the Titans.
I really hope you don't because
I'll lock the Packers.
you're gonna lock the Packers.
We're all locking the
I was
Packers.
also, yeah.
Okay. I guess it's all right. That's fine. I guess
I don't
we're in
know,
agreement
dude.
there.
Minnesota +7.
All I'm saying, podcast listeners, look out. Green Bay is gonna be posted.
Maybe we'll make it a little fun. Maybe.
We should post it now. I think that line's only gonna move up.
Probably.
I think we should tell people to hop on it now.
Yeah, we'll post a little something. Keep an eye out, but definitely try to look at these lines earlier rather than later. I do think the Green Bay one's going to move. I don't think KC is going to move back to. I could see Baltimore being pushed a little higher. I could even see San Fran being pushed from 7 to something lower, maybe 6.5, 5.5.
Jumping ahead here, there might be some good values on the Super Bowl game MVP. Lamar Jackson's at +230.
And
the next nearest is Pat Mahomes at +450. So if you really think that the Ravens are going to win, it's going to be on the back of Lamar Jackson. There's some good value guys in here. specifically on the Ravens, like Mark Ingram is plus 4,400.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, the quarterbacks get that MVP,
Right.
unless somebody
Which is
gets
why
it.
the quarterbacks are the top. The top. They make up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
well,
Ingram the first non-quarterback? on
No,
that
George
list?
Kittle
George
is the
Kittle,
first
okay.
one at plus 3,100. So it goes Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Jimmy Garoppolo, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, George Kittle, and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins and George Kittle have the same odds at plus 3,100. I just find it funny that George Kittle is ranked ahead of is listed ahead of Kirk Cousins. Oh, Deshaun Watson's down there too. He's at plus 3,400. But if they make it to the Super Bowl, then I'd be blown away.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Then color me surprised.
I mean, I think that's why it's all quarterbacks. I mean, well, when you think about it, when the Giants won the Super Bowl that year, what was it, 2008 when Tyree had his catch?
Yeah, and it was still Eli.
Exactly. He had the game-winning catch.
Yeah, but the last time the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl, it was Malcolm Smith.
Or no, was it Malcolm Smith?
It was Malcolm Smith.
The one who got the pick?
Yeah. The first defensive player on this list is Earl Thomas at plus 5,500, followed by Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey at plus 50. You can get every single dude on the Ravens defense for plus 5,500.
I
So
mean,
do with that information what you will. I think we're about done here.
I think so.
Shoot
us your questions.
Yeah, shoot us your questions. Let us know what you're tailing here. We're always happy to hear from you guys. So
yeah, let us know if you guys have any good props too. I'm always down. Listen, I'm not a big prop guy. We have one of our good friends, Anytime Andy. He's good on those props. So we got to see if he's got anything in store. But I think that's it. If you guys like Mano was saying, if you guys have anything, feel free to DM us. Hit us up on our Instagram, capson_ or is it capson.sports?
Instagram,
Capson.sports.
capson.sports.
Twitter is
capson_inc. INC.
Also, to any of our fellow Giants fans out there, feel free to send us any messages in the DMs how you feel about the new hire of Joe Judge as the head coach.
JJ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him JJ for now.
JJ?
I know him like that. Yeah, he's JJ.
Coach
JJ,
J.
I'm
Coach
about it.
JJ.
Coach JJ. He's a gym teacher apparently, or was.
Does he have his doctorate?
He's getting his master's in education.
All right.
Yeah.
He's not
Teach
going
the
to need
guys.
that. And
Teach the guys. You know, the Giants secondary can't cover, but they run a mean monkey bar. So we'll see you guys next week.